Concept 2, finding the probability of independent events. All right, so remember, independent events are those that do not affect each other's outcome. Okay, so what we're going to do when we're looking at multiple events is we're going to be multiplying the probability of the first event by the probability of the second event. Okay, so if my question is, find the probability of rolling 2 dice, with the first being an even number and the second being an odd number, I'm going to find my probability for the first event, right, an even number. So an even number on a die, there's 3, 2, 4, and 6, and there's 6 total, which is equal to 1/2. Okay, and then the second one, we are going to have basically the same thing, an odd number, 1, 3, 5, 3 out of 6, or 1/2. So to find the probability of that happening, I'm going to multiply 1/2 times 1/2 to get 1/4. Okay? So multiplying the event, remember, or the events, remember these are independent events, ones that don't change based on the outcome of each other. All right, let's look at another example. So here we have one student's name from a class of 10 is picked at random to answer a question. Okay, so a class of 10 is picked at random, so already we know we've got 10, right? That's going to be our sample size. The name is replaced, and this is important because this is what tells us that we're looking at an independent event, right? Independent events. So the name is replaced, and then a student is picked again. What is the probability of Michael, so one student named Michael, being picked both times? Well, Michael has a 1 in 10 probability the first time, and then another 1 in 10 probability the second time. So Michael getting picked both times is pretty unlikely. It's a 1 out of 100. All right. Now, if we change the question slightly, okay, so now instead of asking what the probability it is of Michael being picked both times, we're asking what the probability of picking the same student, not necessarily Michael, what would the probability be? Okay, and so now we got to think about it. It gets a little bit tricky because the probability of picking a student, right, because we haven't picked that first student, the probability of picking any student that first time is 1, right? It's 10 out of 10. I'm going to pick a student, okay? And the probability of picking that same student the next time, well, we've got 1 student out of 10, okay? So it really depends on the wording, and it can change the result of the question a lot, right? So this is going to be just 1/10, all right? So there's a 1 in 10 chance that if we pick 2 names, all right, or if we pick a name, we put it back, and then we pick another name, the same student is going to get picked. If we are, looking for a specific student the first time, then we're looking at a much lower probability. Okay, so remember, independent events, often you'll notice or you'll recognize them because of the word replaced, right? And you're just multiplying the probability of the first event by the probability of the second event.